Hello, Ipswich. Good afternoon. My name is Tony Marino. I am your town manager. We've been coming up on 2 months now with this COVID-19 health crisis, and we've been trying to do these weekly shows for you. We are going to tape today's show. We've got an update similar to what we did before with the school department, public health, our senior center, MEMA, and obviously the Ipswich YMCA. Chris Bevilacqua will be here as well. So I just wanted to give the Ipswich residents a total update here on the case counts. As of today, in Ipswich, we have 54 cases, or 54 people have tested positive for COVID-19. Some have already been through the quarantine or back at either work or back out in society, and other ones are still under the tracing program and being contacted by our public health department. Colleen, Fermon, our public health director, will give you an update on that a little later on in the show. We're all anticipating that the governor is going to come out either later on this week with some guidance, hopefully sticks to the May 19th date of probably some sort of a phased-in approach, I would assume, for the state. And with that, we're making plans to tentatively open Town Hall on May 19th. We will be opening limited hours in the beginning for Tuesday through Friday next week. We plan on, if the governor allows, we will open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., only 4 hours a day. We're putting some safety precautions in place at Town Hall, so don't anticipate business as usual. There's some additional glass shields that were installed. Office doors will be stanchioned off, so you can't just walk in. So please be patient with us, but we will be open to the public, if the governor's orders allow, next week between the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then we'll follow with updates moving forward if we're going to increase those hours or as restrictions get eased. With regard to the Town Wharf project, as everyone may have seen, they're down there working away where the state is on fixing not only our walls, but also the boat ramp. Our original plan was to do the boat ramp first. However, happens a lot in construction projects, once they started to tear the walls down, what they did not realize was that the wall underneath was completely deteriorated. So that required some additional engineering and some additional funding sources to be identified, both of which have already happened, and they're going to be moving forward with the project. So we'll still be done by early June, probably the second week in June. That's the target date. But doing the ramp first and having the ramp fully available by Memorial Day may not happen, so I did want to keep the public aware of that. We are going to put out a press release and list a couple of alternate sites where people can launch their boats, but that project, while we're happy it's getting done, will be done by early June. But again, we will probably not hit the target of having the boat ramp done by Memorial Day. Crane Beach put out a press release last week that they're similar to us on May 19th. They're planning on doing a scaled back opening, limited number of cars, whether that's 500 or 1,000, that's still to be determined, but a limited number of cars per day. And non-Ipswich residents will have to sign up for a parking spot for the day, get a pass. If you're a member of the trustees of the reservation, you'll be able to, and have a beach sticker with them, you'll be able to just reserve your spot and obviously not have to pay. But if, or you can pay online and reserve your spot, but it won't be able to just go up to the gate and pay. This does not impact Ipswich residents. Ipswich residents will still get their beach pass and still be able to go to the town side parking lot as they always did, with no reservations needed or anything like that. There may be some limited hours at the end of the day like we have now. I know we shut the gate down at 5. Depending upon staffing, we may have to follow the trustees' hours, so there may not be, be able to stay till 7, 8 o'clock at night and watch the sunsets, but more to follow on that. But Ipswich residents, again, will not have to reserve a spot. They'll be able to use the town parking lot as they always have with the beach sticker. Quick update on the town meeting. We did have some meetings last week about it with the select board and with the chairs of the committees, along with myself and Dr. Blake. And they're still shooting for the last week in June to have the town meeting. The select board will discuss this at their next meeting on May 18th, a week from today on Monday. And they will, at that point, will be giving us some direction on not only the budget cuts that we're proposing, but also town meeting dates and how we're going to propose to do that town meeting, inside, outside. And again, a lot will depend on what happens with the governor's orders that we're anticipating in the latter half of this week. FinCom will be meeting tomorrow night. Unlike what we said prior, they will not be having their warrant hearings this week. They wanted to wait to see what happens with the budget and the directives that the Select Board puts out on Monday, May 18th. So they will schedule those for, I believe, maybe the last week in May, but more to follow on that. But they will have a regular meeting tomorrow night. At that point, they'll be discussing their warrant hearing dates and their schedule for the annual town meeting as they prepare their book that they put out for every town meeting, the FinCom book. And with that, that's all I have on the town side. So at this point, I'll pass it over to Dr. Blake, and he'll give us an update on what's going on with the schools.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Tony. Just a few updates and reminders again this week. Schools remain closed. The high school is working on plans to celebrate our seniors. We have a committee that's made up of staff, students, and parents to create a memorable experience for our seniors. Right now, we're targeting June 13th as a potential graduation date. We're working out plans as far as what the ceremony might actually look like. More details to come in the weeks ahead. The athletic department has already developed and produced senior recognition videos that are out on social media as well as being shown on the ICAM channels. Our food service program continues to provide meals for any students in need, not just those who are eligible for free and reduced lunch. The meal delivery locations and times, and again, I mention this every week, Rosewood from 11:30 to 12:30, the Winthrop School from 11:30 to 12:30 as well, Agawam Village from 11:30 to 12:15, and Powderhouse Village from 12:15 to 12:30. And what we've started to do the last couple of weeks is the meals that are packed up on Fridays also have additional food in the bags for the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday is now included as well. Each building is making their own plans to have students and teachers back into the buildings on some sort of a schedule to collect the rest of their belongings and to pack up classrooms. The principals will be contacting the staff and parents regarding their individual schools. Right now, the custodial staff is in the buildings working and catching up on maintenance and repair work that they're not able to get to during the school year. At this point, there's no indication as to whether or not schools will be able to hold in-person summer programming or if we're going to be limited to doing any of our summer programming remotely as we're doing with the rest of this current school year. There is a group that's formed both at the state level, and we have a local group forming that'll be meeting later this week to discuss what reopening might look like in the fall. The school facilities working group of the school committee is shifting its focus to what it might look like in the fall as far as social distancing and, do we need to take temperatures and what are the guidelines that we're going to have to put in place? And that group is meeting later this week. And that's all I have for this week. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Brian. And now we're going to bring in Colleen Fermon, our Public Health Director, to give us an update on what's going on with not only the mask order, but other public health issues with regard to COVID-19.
Thank you, Tony. So I just want to recap. I know Tony mentioned there's 54 cases. We have 15 currently under isolation. There's been 58 contacts being traced and only 19 remain under quarantine. So we're making some progress on that front. As you know, the governor issued a mask order, and so essentially when people are going to be outside or inside a public building and they can't socially distance, they need to wear some sort of face covering, scarves, bandanas, homemade face masks. They're all acceptable. You want to just make sure they cover your nose and your mouth and they fit snugly. As far as masks are required at all times when you're inside a grocery store, a pharmacy, or a retail store, and also when you're waiting in line. I know it can be a little confusing where some things are an option and some aren't, so you want to just make sure you understand the masks are required at all times inside or waiting in line to go into a grocery store. pharmacy, a retail store. Also, if you're using taxis or any type of ride-sharing services, and if you're going to be taking a bus or public transit and enclosed in any of those areas. Additional guidance came out last week regarding masks in children. So essentially, masks aren't required on children under 2, and between the ages of 2 and 5, it's left up to the parent. If you do have a mask on a child, you want to make sure they can still breathe sufficiently, but you're trying to cover their nose and mouth, especially over the age of 5. As far as the mask discussion, the Board of Health is having a meeting tonight at 5:30. It will be a Zoom meeting, and you're all welcome to tune in, and we will be discussing the governor's order and just reviewing a regulation that mimics the governor's order and includes a fining structure. The goal of this regulation is not to try to have fines applied to anyone. It is just to reinforce the governor's order. And we appreciate everyone who's been proactive in wearing face coverings and trying to social distance. In addition to face coverings, you do want to continue to social distance. You want to continue your good hygiene practices of hand washing. So you don't want to let any of that slide now that we're promoting masks. We want to do masks in addition to those other protocols. I do want to mention, I know it's been a while that we've been under this public pandemic, and I just want to mention that May is National Mental Health Month, and that there are lots of resources available to people. If you're tied to a provider already, continue with your telehealth. If you're not, you can call 211 to get connected, and also go on the local town website. There's a lot of resources under behavioral health and substance misuse disorder, and you can go to the state website. We also have a link there, and there's a lot of resources. So it's important during this time that we pay attention to how we're feeling and our mental health status, and if maybe some people who previously didn't need a provider might need one now, and you should certainly reach out and take care of yourself. That's very important at this time. A lot of people have a lot of additional anxiety, and we want to just make sure everyone stays healthy. In addition, I want to mention that it's National Nurses Week. We're at the tail end of it. It started May 6th and runs through May 12th. And we've had a great team of nurses helping us during this pandemic. The public health nurse, Pamela Lara, has been leading the team with 3 additional nurses. That's Paula Butt, Jennifer Reed, and Sharon Gallant. And I just want to thank them and for working hard and recognize them during National Nurses Week. And I just want to remind you, if you're getting a phone call from them, it's important to return that call. So they are doing case investigations and contact tracing, so people that need to be under quarantine, so it's important to answer their call. Also, I just want to mention that we do continue to work with the Community Tracing Collaborative. So if you do get a phone call and someone is identifying themselves as a part of the Community Tracing Collaborative, you do want to answer their questions also. And if they leave a message or you see their phone ID, it'll be MA COVID Team listed on that. So you do want to make sure you're communicating with those people. They're helping us out when we get cases a lot, maybe in one day, or if we might need an interpreter. So it's important that you respond to those people also. I just hope that everyone stays healthy and safe, and we are available to help you out. If you have any calls or questions, reach out to the Public Health Department. You can certainly call or send an email, and we will get back to you. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Colleen. I also want to point out, Colleen talked about the mask order, and while you're outside walking on the street by yourself, and you can safely social distance, you don't need to have a mask on. But I will recommend that if you are in the downtown area, walking on, Central Street or Market Street, we recommend that you keep the mask on. You don't know people coming in and out of businesses, and it's harder to, and while you can safely social distance there, it is more difficult in the downtown area as people are coming and going. So we request that you leave your mask on when you're in the downtown area walking around. Thank you. And up next is Sheila Taylor from the Council on Aging. She will give us an update on what's going on with our senior citizens in town and the programs that they're offering.
Thank you, Tony. So I thought today I'll start with business. Beth asked me to share a little bit of information with everybody. First, if people are experiencing any food insecurity issues, please reach out to Beth at the Senior Center, because she can help you access various community resources that are available to people. I'm going to give you some guidelines for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is shortened as SNAP. So the eligibility depends on a number of factors, but But if your individual monthly income is less than $2,200 or $3,000 a month as a couple, you should consider SNAP benefits. During this coronavirus period, all eligible individuals receive $194 a month or $355 for a couple. That's the maximum that anybody can receive, and they have opened those guidelines for anybody, no matter as long as you fall in those guidelines, you receive the maximum amount. So please consider that option. Food is very expensive. Prices are rising now, especially with meat. So if that can be helpful to you, now's the time to look into that. You can always get off if your situation improves or you feel you don't need it after that, but please consider it for the short-term option. Also wanted to talk about our SHINE program. SHINE stands for Serving the Health Insurance Needs of Everyone on Medicare. So a lot of people who may now be out of work and have looking at different insurance options, these counselors are available to talk with you over the phone. We have meetings scheduled every Friday morning, and the counselor will call you on your home phone and talk with you about options and look at cost alternatives for you. Might end up saving a lot of money. Over the years, we have saved thousands of dollars for people. So this is another good option to consider, and it can be done safely right in the privacy of your home on the telephone. So you would call the senior center for that assistance also. So good news I want to share. We just had our parade on Friday. It was a lovely afternoon. A great amount of thanks to the police and firefighters who joined us. At the largest point, we had 4 police cars and the fire truck with all the firefighters on board. And we went around most of the town, and I'm so sorry for the people that we missed. Really just couldn't handle all the streets. Some of them are just not able to be driven down easily or turn around, and it took 2 hours anyway, so there was no way that we could make it any bigger. But the love that we all felt, firefighters, police, and us, was amazing. It was so nice to see people, young and older adults, lining the route, thanking all of us and the emergency responders too. So it was really nice. It also just was a little bit sad too to see everybody that we miss and love so much, and look forward to getting back together whenever that will be safe to do so. Speaking of that, we are working on reopening plans. They will be done very slowly in very gradual phases. Although the town hall is opening to the public on May 19th, we at the senior center will be still working there, but it will not yet be open for patrons to come. We'll be working out plans, and I will update people either in this forum and also on robocalls too, so you'll know exactly what's happening, as well as in the newsletter. But the newsletter, the timing is a little bit delayed because of printing and everything. So listen for the robocall, and we'll update you as soon as we can, as soon as we know anything. Other than that, everything continues that we've been doing during this crisis. We still have been doing the grab-and-go meals. We still have a ton of volunteers that are helping with grocery shopping, picking up prescriptions for people, making phone calls to check on people, helping out with technology. We have our big Zoom meeting, which will be this Wednesday, May 13th at 11:30. We have a lot of people that are joining us, and if you would like to join us, please call or send me an email, and we will send you the link for that. We're still giving out face masks and other supplies as we still have them. So that's just the recap, but let's all keep the faith and hope that there's better days ahead. We know there are better days ahead, and hope they're sooner than later. Thanks.
Thank you, Sheila. I appreciate it. And Sheila did reference the fact that Town Hall will be opening next week, as long as the governor's orders allows us to. And that will be the 4-hour minimum, 10 to 2. Most days except for Friday, we'll do 8 to 12, obviously to match up with the town hall hours. But I did want to point out, and Sheila brings up a good point, the Council on Aging and the library, they will be doing a more phased-in approach, so keep an eye out for updates on that. Because they're so program-driven and service-driven, in so many different things, not only at the Council on Aging, but more in really the library with, regard to computer usage and books and programs. That's going to be a phased-in approach. So more to follow on that, but again, we got to make sure we keep everybody safe, and we'll be doing a slower rollout on opening up on there, starting on the 19th, but again, more to follow on that, so keep an eye out for additional updates on the Council on Aging in the library, as well as Town Hall. And up next, we have Chris Bevilacqua from the Ipswich YMCA, and he'll give us an update on what's going on with the Y.
Thank you, Tony. Over at the YMCA, we are continuing right now to plan for reopening. So we've been working diligently in hopes of eventual reopening as we wait for guidance from the governor. We've got some social distance plans and sanitation plans in place that we've been working with our team to get ready. We're also looking at summer camp. So again, waiting to hear from the governor and get some direction on whether or not we will be holding summer camp, but we are ready to go if we do. Again, a number of different sanitation and social distancing plans put together in place, different iterations based on what kind of recommendations come down. Again, hoping that we'll be able to support families and give kids an outlet this summer to kind of go out and maybe burn off some of the energy that they've built up from being inside for the past couple of months. We've also, along the lines of camp, have been talking with other camps in the area, obviously, just about how we can all work together and support each other and really support families. How do we meet the most need once the decisions come down? So again, just trying to work with everybody to meet the needs of those that are going to need us. As far as outdoor pools, that kind of thing, no word yet on that. Again, just still waiting from direction on the governor and our local Board of Health. Colleen Fermon's been fantastic, kind of keeping us up to date on what's coming down, so we will wait for direction on them. Again, if we do get the opportunity to open, we are ready to go, just waiting for some direction. And then we continue to work in the communities to support folks. So the Monday meal deliveries through through Dinner Bell continue. It's been fantastic. Again, I think we're up to about 90, so we'll be heading out there in a little bit to deliver tonight's meals with volunteers from, I think we have some from Ascension Church, we've got some from First Presbyterian, a whole bunch of folks coming down. We've got a couple from Rotary, so again, that's a great program that keeps running and helping people. Tuesday night, we've got another delivery going out this week. Last week, Georgia's restaurant supplied the dinners for us, so thank you to Georgia's for doing that and helping feed those folks. This week, we are going with Tim Hopkins Catering out of Essex. They are going to be providing the meals for the 113 folks that we're going to be feeding on Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the collaboration with Open Door continues with the groceries, continuing to do deliveries to about 45 folks in need. It's a combination of veterans, low-income families, homebound seniors. So that continues to go well. And then the last thing that we started working on and focusing on at the Y is mental health support. So we've been talking with Children's Friends and Family in Leahy about what resources they have available and how we share those with our members in the community when it comes to just dealing with isolation and anxiety, things that may be building up now that we're hitting the 2-month mark of being at home. So again, finding ways that we can support the community and members through partnerships with others. So that is in the plans. We've started to roll some of it out now. We've got some videos coming, so be on the lookout for that. And then also just looking at academic support. So we're looking at how folks can connect with us to virtually connect with one of our school-age instructors, school-age staff, to maybe get some support for their students, for their children. It's not tutoring, it's more of just a way to have someone there, a familiar face, that's got some teaching background to help the child for an hour get through some of the work that they're doing. So again, just kind of looking at different avenues and always trying to figure out new ways that we can help people as we continue to work together as a community and make our way through these times. So that's it for now, and hopefully we'll see y'all soon.
All right, great. Thanks, Chris. And I know a few weeks ago, Chris and I had mentioned a potential drive-in movie that still is in the planning stages, with the governor extending the order past May 4th a few weeks ago. That sort of put it on hold. We certainly didn't want to do it while we were still under the stay-at-home order. So if the governor's orders do, loosen the restrictions this week, we will certainly be in touch with everybody and let them know where that movie stands and how we're going to proceed moving forward with that. So thanks for Chris and the YMCA for partnering with us on that. We're definitely looking forward to bringing that to the community. All right, and up next, last but not least, we've got Lieutenant John Hubbard, our Emergency Management Director, to give us an update on what's going on not only locally, but with the state of Mass for the MEMA group. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. Glad to be back. Just a couple updates on the emergency management side. We're starting to work with FEMA on getting our reimbursement for the federally declared disaster. There's a lot of items that the town had to purchase for PPE and supplies for cleaning that we've never had to purchase before, so those are obviously all outside of our budget. So we're looking to get the disaster assistance from the federal government so we can try to reimburse the town for some of the costs that we've incurred because of the COVID disaster. We're also working with various town departments to supply PPE for town employees who might need to interact with the public. So I've been working on trying to fill those requests. I've had some requests from the school department, the cemetery department, the library, and the public works department. So we're working with them to try to make sure that all the town employees have the proper PPE so they can stay healthy, so they can continue to provide the town services that we're trying to provide to everybody and try to keep things running as normal as possible. On the police side of things, just in case anybody's wondering, we're running a coloring contest for the kids. If you want to check out our Facebook page, Officer Joe's been running that, and you can download the picture and color it in and show them to us, and they're picking winners. I think they're doing Dairy Queen gift cards for that. And if you see groups of police cars driving around town together, they're probably heading to a birthday parade. We've been trying to support our local elementary school students' birthdays. We know you can't have parties right now, so if you'd like to have the police department come by and sing happy birthday and have the lights and sirens going and do a little parade for you, feel free to reach out to us. But if you see a group of police cars driving around together, that's probably where they're going. And also Officer Joe on his own Facebook page, the Officer Joe Facebook page, he's been doing story time, and he's been reading stories for the children as well, and they're elementary school age stories. So if anybody's interested in doing something like that, feel free to check us out. We're trying to do as much as we can to keep everybody engaged and give you something to do during this time. So that's about all I have for right now, and I'll turn it back over to you, Tony. Thank you.
Great, thank you, John. And kudos to, not only you, but everyone in your department for all the hard work they continue to do, not only keeping us safe, but all the extra services you've been offering with the coloring contests and the parades and everything that you've been doing. So thank you very much for that. All right, that wraps it up for this week. Again, please go to our website, www.ipswichma.gov. We have a COVID-19 link there. You can not only get this show, but a lot of useful information about what's going on. And also look at Town of Ipswich MA on Facebook. You can find us there. We continue to put updates out on there with regard to town hall hours and anything else going on in the town. So please look to stay in touch with us. Either use social media or go to our website. And also keep an eye out for these shows on a weekly basis. But we are here to help, and we will get through this together. So thank you very much, Ipswich, and have a great week.